Happy Friday, Light Warrior Tribe, and hello to all the awakening Starseeds and awakening psychics and intuitives out there. I wanted to share this message here for a while now, and this has been coming through, and so I decided, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and channel this message for everyone today, and that is around this whole idea, this concept that you can't solve a problem from the same mind that created it. All right. So how often have you said to yourself, oh man, this sucks, right? Or I hate this, or I want to get rid of this. Or you might have said, my life would be so much better if only I could move on. Or I'm having such a hard time, it's hard for me to get unstuck. Well, all of that stuff, right? That's life, and it's all real. We all have our challenges. We all have our issues. And none of us want to be stuck, right? None of us want to keep in this whole status quo. And sure, yes, all these are indeed a problem. Yet here's what I see as the even greater problem, everyone. And it is around how people go about solving their problems. That's the real issue. And here's a case in point. You might, and this is for all the awakening psychics and starseeds out there. You see a being or entities, and these entities and beings are scaring you. Yes, I get it. It's a problem, right? Who wants to wake up in the middle of the night and these beings are coming at you and scaring you? The question is, however, how do you solve that? Right? As I see it, there's two alternatives. You can go ahead and make peace with your abilities and embrace your experiences. Or, and this is what I'm seeing in the group a lot, is that you could just go ahead and become more fearful, more shut off, and even more resistant to your gifts. Here's another case in point. You feel blocked, right? And you feel, because you're someone, you're an empath, and you feel everyone else's energies. So there you are, you're blocked from feeling everyone else's energies. How do you solve that? And the question is, do you take steps to neutralize those lower vibrations? Do you use energy tools to move everyone else's energies out? Or are you someone that you're just sitting there in your misery, right? Stewing about, and thus making yourself feel even worse, right? And do you take it even a step further? Do you go out into your environment and then you tell everyone how much your life sucks as a result, thus making your environment feed into and feed you more of this misery? So here's what I get about these two cases, okay? Do you feel the vibration between making peace, right? Making peace with your gifts versus trying to, you're inviting more fear into your life? Do you get the difference between embracing something, right? Embracing your gifts versus being in like resistance to them? Now back to the quote, right? Back to the title of this video. You can't solve a problem from the same mind that created it. Here's an example we're seeing in society today, and this is just a case in point. So much hate out there, right? There's so much going on where that side against that side, politics, that side against that side, this party against that party, some group against some other group. And it's all this hate, right? I even see it in the forums and some of these other groups online, or people responding to other people's comments. And the thing is, you can't fight hate with more hate. You just can't, right? It just ends up bringing about more hate. And yet, what's going on out there? What do you see people in our society doing? what are people resorting to? Yeah, there's just more hate, right? More division. And even me just, I'm even getting kind of riled up with the energy of all that. And thus, when you try to, you know, solve from the same mind that created it, right? Trying to fight hate with more hate, then what do you end up with? You just end up with more of the same. So let's go back to this awakening crowd of starseeds, psychics, intuitives, healers. There are two general crowds that I see, and you might even notice this for yourself when you look through the comments and messages in our group here. Crowd number one, right? Crowd number one, you're resisting your gifts. Have you heard that phrase, what you resist persists? Now, many of you are awakening to your gifts, right? And these are you awakening psychics, starseeds, lightwares. And yet, okay, yeah, you're seeing beings, right? You're seeing entities. And yes, some of these are really scary and bothersome, right? Who wants to wake up, and then see a being right in the corner of your bed there, just standing there and looking at you, all right? I even saw one comment earlier that, oh yeah, it felt like there's a being attacking you. Okay, that is a problem, right? But how are you going about trying to solve that? I'm noticing in the group that some of you are trying so hard to make those beings go away. And yet, with all this effort, these beings keep hanging around, right? There's many of you in this group that are like, I've been dealing with these beings all my life, all right? I've had so many clients that have said the same. I've literally taught hundreds of students, right, trying to deal with their beings. And what are you doing? Right? I hate these beings. So what? Are you trying to get rid of them by hating more? Right? Are you trying to try harder? How's that actually worked out for you? All right? And yet, with all this effort, these beings keep hanging around. Now, from the vibrational side, let's just look at the vibration of this, okay? It's because of the energy of resistance that this problem hasn't gone away, right? The universe, and back to that whole saying, what you resist persists, right? What's going on is the universe is having you see that you have a gift to even sense or see or hear or feel these beings in the first place. Now, sure, the universe could have given you a better psychic experience, right, to help you realize your gifts. Maybe not like the scary being or the scary entity. The question becomes, though, right, how scary of a being does the universe have to deliver to you before you finally wake up? Have you considered that? Maybe this is what it takes to actually have you wake up and have you actually overcome your resistance. All right, so here's crowd two, right? So that was crowd one, the ones in resistance to their gifts. Crowd two, this is, who you are. You're the group that's like, I'm gonna just think about this more, right? Think. Now, in my book Journey of the Awakened Psychic, one of the key concepts that I mentioned in the book is that nothing will knock you out of your psychic space faster than thinking about it more, thinking about being psychic. And why? Why is this the case? Well, here's the nature of mind, right? Here's the nature of your mind, your ego, the lower mind, all these other names that you might have heard this referred to. The mind is limited by nature, all right? It's just limited. And what I mean by limited, it's meant to solve like complex formulas like math, logic, right? And it's meant to process the information from your five senses, your traditional five senses. right? So you see something, your mind is processing that, your brain is processing that, right? You smell something, oh, that didn't smell right. Oh, there's a fire. Or, I don't know, you feel something, right? And it's, oh, it's cold, right? So your mind helps you figure out all these things like, oh, it's cold, let me go get a jacket, right? That's what the mind is all about. However, on the flip side of that, your mind is not meant to process energies that are outside of these five traditional senses. All right. In other words, your mind is not meant to process that which is illogical, like psychic phenomena. It's just not. So let this sink in for a moment. When you had those moments of synchronicity, right? When things just came out of nowhere, right? Literally, you're probably daydreaming when this all happened. Weren't even thinking about anything. So the question is, in those moments, if you're not thinking, what was going on there? It was literally outside of your mind, right? The universe delivered this message while you were daydreaming, while you weren't even thinking about it. Another case in point, you have a passing thought about someone, right? You weren't thinking, you're just like, oh yeah, that's my friend John. And then next thing you know, they magically text you, right? 5 minutes later, you look at your phone, oh my gosh, John just messaged me. What's up with that, right? In that case, did you have to think extra hard about that to make that happen? No, there's some kind of other thing going on that you didn't have to think about that. You know, another case in point, right? You're with a friend who's like having a problem, and you suddenly say something like this phrase, this magical thing that you don't know where this came from, right? And yet it was exactly what your friend needed to hear. And you know, it was this magical message that came from some universal source outside of the five senses, right? So here's what I see people doing. That you're having these magical experiences from not thinking, right? And yet, what I see over and over and over again are people are trying to reproduce this experience, these magical experiences, by thinking about it more. And it drives me nuts, right? On one end, yeah, I get it, right? But on the other hand, every time I see that and people are like, oh, I got to think about it more, or there's more and more resistance to this even being magic in the first place, being mystical, right? So you're having these instances where you're not thinking about it, but there you are thinking about it more. Do you get like how insane that is? All right. So with with all the love I can muster for all you guys, right? I just want to let you know I get it, right? And for many years, even for myself, I went through my own journey of thinking about it, and then thinking even more about it. And I got to a point, right, where I decided I really want to hone my gifts. All right. I want to master my abilities. And I want to make peace with all these crazy like psychic experiences I was having. And you know, I'm posting a link here where you could watch the video of my own story if you want to know more about that. But I realized that thinking about it more wasn't getting me anywhere. Okay. As a matter of fact, it was keeping me exactly where I was at. And so the question for all of you in this group is, where are you at? Right? And for some of you, and I'm not going to name names, you know who you are, right? And again, this is with love, right? The question is, how long are you just going to keep resisting your gifts? Right? How long are you just going to keep thinking about it more? And when are you actually going to start embracing your gifts? When are you finally going to be at peace? And if you're not going to choose peace, or if you're not going to choose to embrace, then what's that all really costing you in the long run? To continue being where you're at over and over and over again. Now, I know some of you might be saying, yeah, Joe, that's easy for you to say. I've been dealing with this all my life. Okay, well, like I said, I get it, right? I went through a similar journey. But do you know what helped me? I knew that left to my own devices, I would just stay stuck and stay exactly where I was at. So I got help. Okay. I got help from someone that had been there, done that. And even today, and I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm a world-class healer. All right. I'm a great psychic. I know my stuff. I've had plenty of reviews. I've had plenty of feedback from people that tell me, oh my gosh, Joe, thank you so much for that healing. That really helped me set my way and get me unstuck and help me realize my gifts. Right? I own that. I just went ahead and owned that. And yet I still get stuck sometimes. Right? And so what do? I don't stay stuck. I reach out to my fellow healers and like, hey, I need a healing. Right? Do you get that? Right? There's no reason to just stay stuck. There's no reason to just stay in resistance and not embrace your gifts there. So my message here is you don't have to stay stuck. All right. You do have other alternatives and you do have a way out. Let me just reaffirm here for a moment that the way to get out, though, is you can't get out of a problem with the same mind that created it. Okay. Again, lots of love with all that. So let me just give you some alternatives. All right. And I know many of you have been wondering, oh, what do I do? How do I go about this? How can I embrace your gifts? Literally, you're asking some of these questions. I'm not making this up. Like I'm literally just reading off the group. How do I get out of this? What can I do about this? Well, here's some avenues for you to explore. One, I have 3 of them. Number 1, get my book. Right? That's what I wrote the book for. It's called Journey of the Awakened Psychic. It has tips and tools on how you could hone your psychic gifts. Right? You learn how to control your gifts rather than having your gifts control you. Right? You embrace your gifts. So in turn, you can use your gifts for the greater good to help heal others. All right, so I'm going to put the link in the description here below, but just order it off of Amazon. Get it already. And I know for a fact, some of you are like, oh, Joe, I'll get your book later, right? Because you've told me. It's like, I'll just get it later. All right. So there's that. Get my book. Number 2, schedule a healing with me. Right? I can't tell you how many times I was like, hey, people are like, I have this problem. I have this problem. Hey, schedule a healing. And whether it's with me or someone else, I don't care. But I offer 3 alternatives. You could just do a half-hour healing. There's an hour healing that you could schedule. I also have this, what I call a deep transformational life path channeling and healing session. All right. And with this, people ask me what's that all about and why does it cost that much? Well, I help you identify these blocks, right? And in the healing space, I helped you to heal those out of your space. And if you watch my other video, I talk about programming, deprogramming. That's in that manifesting video. And then I help you remove old energies from this lifetime, from past lives, energies from other people. It could be from your parents. It could be from old relationships, right? Because all those energies keep you stuck. And then also I might channel. And when I do channel, we just kind of see what guides come through. Especially for all you star seeds that are out there wondering about your star families, I'll go ahead and channel these beings from these other galaxies and these other star systems and see what messages might come through there for you, right? So, stop looking at the stars and see what messages are actually coming to you here and now. And overall, with that healing, you just really gain clarity on your next steps in life. All right, so for that, you could just go to my website, and that's at trueinsights.net/readings, and I'll put that in the link as well. And then finally, number 3. Oh, by the way, for that one, I do have a coupon code, and use the coupon code AWAKE, so AWAKE, AWAKE, and you could get 10% off your first reading there. Now, number 3, right? For those of you that want more in-depth work, right? Want more one-on-one guidance, I do have a couple programs, one for Awakening Psychics, one for Awakening Starseeds. And I'm actually putting together a new program called Becoming Mystical. All right. And with this, this is when when it comes to my coaching programs, essentially these are one-on-one guidance, right? So you could hone your unique gifts. And so if you want to find out about how you could work directly with me, or if you want to find out how you could, break through so you could stop thinking and resisting, or if you want that one-on-one guidance, right, over a longer term, so you could actually turn around and use these gifts to help heal others and use them for the greater good, right? Well, you could find out more about that. Go to trueinsights.net. And I'm also putting together this new website. It's still in the works, but you could go and check it out anyway. It's fine. It's called www.starseed360.com, right? www.starseed360.com, and I'll also put that in the link or in the comments below. So anyway, to sum up, y'all, okay, back to the topic of this, you can't solve a problem from the same mind that created it, right? So whether you're in resistance or whether you're just trying to think about it more, you do have to get outside the mind, right? And when you get outside the mind, guess what's available out there? The rest of the universe. You could tap into the mind of the universe, right? So one, if that's the case, get my book, right? That's one avenue to that. 2, get a healing, or 3, schedule a breakthrough session with me, right? Find out about some of my coaching programs. So it's with that, I'm going to go ahead and complete this transmission. And like I said, this guidance has been wanting to come through and channel through in the last few days. And so here it is. And so, may it be that this opens doorways for you to new possibilities. All right. Many blessings to you. Hope this helps. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, keep your posts coming, and it just gives me ideas for future videos to channel about. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.